Hey, so in this video, we're gonna cover some of the best ways to invest while you're in your 20s. Maybe you're a teenager, maybe you're in your 30s, but generally speaking, this is gonna be the most important time of your life to actually consider investing and thinking about how you're gonna invest going forward in your life so that you can build as much wealth as possible and be as best off as possible. So let's get into this video. There's really two routes that we can go here, and we're just gonna cut to the chase here, but there's really two routes we can go. So there's something that I would call the millionaire route, which is pretty well laid out. A lot of people follow this route and they do succeed. I'm going to share that with you in just a second. And then there is something that I would call the multi-million or the billionaire route. And there's two different ways you can go here. Let's first cover the millionaire route because this is what 90% of people are going to follow. This is something that I personally will follow, and it's something that's pretty well laid out. So it's not too complicated. Just follow along here and hopefully everything will make sense. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll be happy to respond as fast as possible. So the very first thing that you want to do is something that a lot of people will be like, man, that doesn't sound fun, but you want to set up a retirement account. So you want to think about IRAs, and this just does not sound fun at all. I mean, if you're 21, you're 25, maybe you're 30, and you're thinking about retirement, like that's not cool at all. You want to buy cool stuff in your 20s, but you want to set yourself up for retirement because the worst thing in the world is to see someone who's 75 years old and they're living on the sidewalk because they didn't pay into Social Security because they worked as a waitress their entire life and they never paid taxes on it. They never built any retirement accounts, and it's really, really sad to see that. I hate seeing that. You don't want to end up running out of money when you're in your older years. Just, it's not a fun thing to do. So you want to set yourself up for success in the future. So the very first thing you want to do after paying off all of your debts like student loan debt, credit card debt, whatnot, then you want to think about IRA accounts. So there's really two different types of IRAs. There's Roth IRAs and there's traditional IRA accounts. Now, if you're not living in America, maybe your country offers something similar. They probably do, and so you can look into that on your own here. But if you're living in America, there's traditional and there's Roth IRAs. If you're younger, you're not making a ton of money, you're generally in a lower tax bracket, so you're probably going to want to go with a Roth IRA because that means you're going to get taxed up front and then you don't pay taxes on that money later. With a traditional IRA, you're going to not pay taxes now, but pay taxes later, which you might have a much higher income at that time later on in your life when you're making a lot of money. So the best way to think of an IRA account is sort of like a house or like a shell, and you can put whatever you want into this IRA account. So just like you can put furniture in a house and you can decide how you want to situate your house, you can do that with an IRA account. You can decide maybe you want to put PayPal stock into it, or Walmart stock, or Amazon stock, or mutual funds, ETFs, bonds, CDs, whatever you want to put into that IRA account, you can choose that. And so that's what's really nice about having these different IRA accounts. So once you set these up, you can put up to $5,500 per year into your IRA account. And so that's something that I personally do. Max out your IRA accounts every single year from age 20 to 59 or 60, and you're going to be set up for success. Now, you might want to switch over to a traditional IRA at some point in your life when you're making a pretty decent amount of money, but in your younger years, you want to max out that IRA account, $5,500 per year over a 40-year span. And if you calculate this out, let's just go on to bankrate.com here quick and throw up a graph here. If you go from age 20 to age 60 and you're putting in $5,500 a year, 7% annual growth rate, which is the expected growth rate over time. That's what we learned from the past, going into the past to kind of predict the future. We can see that the annual growth rate has been, give or take, about 7% per year historically. So let's just project that into the future. Maybe we can even knock this down to 5 or 6% if we're really trying to be conservative here. But if we graph this out, we can see that it's a little bit over $1 million in total account value just from $5,000 per year or $5,500 per year over this time of your life. So this is a great route to go just to set yourself up so that you know that you will be perfectly okay when you're getting ready to retire. You have everything set up and you can live a very, very comfortable life. Once we have everything set up with the IRA account, that's when you can think about some other different accounts that you might want to set up for investing. So you can think about your 401ks. Now, this is going to depend on what company you work for and what types of benefits that they're going to offer you. And there's obviously pros and cons to 401ks. So you're going to want to feel this out with your own company. Most corporations do offer some type of 401k plan. Not every organization will do that, but if you're self-employed, you can also get the self-employed 401k. So there's a lot of options behind this, but you want to think about what types of benefits that they're giving you. So a lot of companies will match your contribution, or at least in part match your contribution into your 401k plan, which is just a retirement plan. And this can be really beneficial if they allow you to decide what you want to invest into. But if it's a company, let's just take Macy's for example, and I'm not sure what Macy's policy is, but if you're working for Macy's and they only match your stock if you buy Macy's stock. Well, it's really important to think whether or not that's going to be worth it, to think about Macy's stock 10 or 20 years down the road, where it might be. So you want to feel it out with your own organization and what kind of rules they have about that. If you're able to invest into different companies and they're still going to match that through your 401k, or if they force you into buying their stock in your 401k plan. So think about that going forward. Once you have that set up, that's when you can think about your individual brokerage accounts. You can think about investing into real estate. You can think about investing into bonds, CDs, and this should be pretty liquid in terms of the stock market. So if you want to get into various stocks, maybe you just want to put it into mutual funds and ETFs and bonds, but something that's pretty liquid that you can withdraw if you have an emergency or you need some cash on hand to buy a car. You can do that through those individual brokerage accounts without having to pay any penalties from withdrawing some money from something like your IRA accounts or your 401k plan, which might incur some penalties on that for withdrawing your money before you actually retire. All right, so as you can see, this route that we laid out here should set you up for success. Maybe you're not going to be quite a millionaire if you're just putting away $5,500 a year, but if you're maxing out your Roth IRA or you're maxing out your traditional IRA, you're putting money into maybe your 401k or your individual brokerage accounts, just based off of that, you should be pretty well off. Obviously, we can't perfectly predict what's going to happen 40 years from now, but generally speaking, it should be pretty well off. You should have more money than you had to start with. And that's because if we look at the stock market, it's never in the history of a 20-year span actually decreased in total value. So that's something just to think about going forward in your life. Now, this is the millionaire route. This is something that a lot of people are going to do. It's sort of like the yellow brick road. We can follow it, and it's very well laid out. Now, let's think about something that not a lot of people are able to accomplish, but if you're looking for massive levels of success, we're talking hundreds of millions, billions of dollars, being able to accumulate that much money. Not everybody wants that, but if you do, one of the best ways to actually do this is to learn from the best. Just like how LeBron James probably watched Michael Jordan as he grew up because he learned from the best. So if you want to learn from the best, you're going to want to look at the 2,000 billionaires in the world and learn how they became billionaires, because a lot of them are self-made. And the recurring theme among all of these billionaires is that they started their own business, okay? They started their own business. And if you want to become a billionaire or be massively, massively successful, then you want to think about starting your own business, because this is how you can go from $10 in 2018 to $10 million or $10 billion in just a year or 2 years or 3 years, just like what we saw with some of the people who founded Snapchat, who founded Instagram, who founded Facebook. And you don't have to be the next Mark Zuckerberg. You could be somebody like Warren Buffett, who bought a textile factory when they were not on the in at all, and then grew that company, Berkshire Hathaway, to billions of dollars. And now he is, I believe, the third richest person in the world. And so that is the billionaire route. Now, there's other things you're going to want to do if you're trying to accomplish that. You want to think about how you're spending your time, every second of your life, what you're doing, and how you're investing your time, not only your money, but investing your time, trying to become somebody who is massively successful. So that is this video. That wraps up this video. Any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll try to get back to you as fast as possible. Don't forget to check out this video right here. And thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.